ambiguous yet characterized by its adherence to a specific set of beliefs. Ang kapangyarihan ng relihiyon ay nakatago sa kakayahan nito to bring people together, to persuade and usher the people into a new perspective, a new life. Pero alam mo bang nakapagdudulot din ng relihiyon ng gulo at ng mga unwanted events?
We begin with Nigeria, where a woman has been beaten to death and set on fire on college premises. She was a student in this college. Her killers were her own classmates. What was her crime? Blasphemy.
Muslims and Hindus violently clashing on the streets of the capital, Delhi, during a month meant to be holy for both groups.
Drag artist Pura Luka Vega is facing new criminal charges for allegedly offending religious feelings.
Ethnic clashes between the Hindu majority Metis community and the tribal Christian Kuki minority over land and influence in the state has left at least 180 people dead and over 500 injured.
Maraming bagay ang hindi alam ng mga taong bayan tungkol sa relihiyon. We are here to change that.
What is the boundary between art, humor, and disrespectfulness as seen through the lens of religious beliefs? Kailan natin masasabi na we're offending religious feelings? Pura Luka Vega, Tapa Lord, and Mideo Cruz. In this video, we'll make sense of these incidents attributed to these individuals and what it says about religion, more specifically, the Roman Catholic Church. Context first. Mideo Cruz is a visual artist. Back in 2011, he was known for his controversial installation art titled Poleteismo, which challenged the traditional religious symbols through provocative representations. Naging controversial ang Poleteismo because the artwork includes the face of Jesus Christ with a phallus and a combination of Mickey Mouse and designs of Coca Cola. Maraming religious individuals and institutions found the artwork deeply offensive due to its disregard for the sacredness of religious symbols, sparking public outcry and legal scrutiny. There were criminal complaints against him and the CCP Board of Trustees, citing the violation of the revised penal code outlawing immoral doctrines, obscene publications and exhibitions, and indecent shows. These complaints, however, were dismissed in 2013 by the Office of the Ombudsman. What the offensiveness here is claiming to be the unconventional and irreverent portrayal of religious symbols and figures, which are considered sacred by many. And ginawa niya ito by placing a male genital organ instead of a nose on a representation of the face of Jesus. Among other things he did is he mixed religious and pop culture images together. There are Catholic icons such as that of Christ, the Virgin Mary, and other sacred figures alongside pop icons such as Britney Spears, Obama, election posters of local politicians, and other common everyday materials such as traffic signs, Chinese calendars, elementary educational materials, health center pamphlets, lahat ng nakikita natin every day.
Yung art ko, hindi naman galing sa anger. It's more the construction ng sacredness. It's not an attack, but more of a personal journey or translation ng realization ko.
This led to strong reactions from individuals and groups who found the art disrespectful and blasphemous. Pura Luka Vega, a drag queen just this year, performed a remix version of the Lord's Prayer while dressed as Jesus, which sparked criminal complaints and religious backlash as well. Because of the depiction of Jesus Christ in a non-traditional context, this led to legal action. Kinasuhan siya. Tulad ni Mideo, he was accused of allegedly violating Article 201 of the revised penal code. A group composed of Christian leaders of the Philippines for Jesus movement filed the complaint. Yung case ni Pura Luka ay nag-lead din sa public debate, highlighting discussions on freedom of expression, religious sensitivity, and yung relationship ng LGBTQ community with the church. What was deemed to be offensive sa ginawa niya is yung drag performance niya. By portraying the image of Jesus Christ in a non-traditional context through a drag performance, it was seen as disrespectful and offensive rin by certain religious groups and individuals. Naging offensive raw ito dahil sa pagkawala ng reverent portrayal ng religious figure, which is Jesus. Part of the performance was the charge of offending religious feelings, which is said to be evidence of the legal and cultural implications of such actions.
I understand that people call my performance blasphemous, offensive, or regrettable. However, they shouldn't tell me how I practice my faith or how I do my drag. That performance was not for you to begin with. It is my experience and my expression or having been denied my rights.
Makikita natin na both Pura Luka and Mideo Cruz were subjected to public condemnation for their art. Si Pura Luka ay declared persona non grata to some local cities, was arrested, and imprisoned. Mideo's artwork was partially destroyed, he was subjected to a Senate inquiry, and he was the subject of death threats and public insinuations asking for his assault. Both ay tinangkang kasuhan din for violating a law. Ngayon, how do these incidents reconcile with the experiences of the social media personality called Tapalord? Bago si Pura Luka, there was Tapalord who received criticism also on social media after he released a TikTok video of him acting as Jesus Christ during his crucifixion while dancing. Tapalord is known for ingeniously incorporating his resemblance to Jesus sa kanyang paggawa ng memes and social media posts that are amusing and engaging sa Facebook audience. Dahil ka-look-alike niya si Jesus, na-entice niya rin yung curiosity ng mga tao, also effectively boosting engagement and promoting his business. Nagbebenta kasi siya ng tapa, kaya rin natawag siyang Tapalord in the first place. This utilization of Jesus Christ's image not only sparks interest, but also raises questions about the boundaries of expression and offensiveness. Nakita ito as appropriating religious symbolism for commercial gain, which can be considered disrespectful then to religious individuals. He's using or adopting religious symbols, icons, or imagery for purposes that might not align with the original sacred context. And para sa kanya, he is not at fault and is using this strategy for the betterment of himself and others.
Never kong sinisi yung Diyos. Bakit ko ititigil eh? Wala naman akong ginagawang mali. Ginagawa ko tong gimmick na to para mabuhay kami. Tsaka ang ginagawang kong ng kalokohan is yung sarili ko lang, hindi naman yung Diyos eh.
May assertion din siya that he knows his limits. He is aware na baka nga may ma-offend siya as he also seeks guidance from friends who are priests. This may reflect his perspective on the moral and ethical considerations surrounding his actions. However, the potential offensiveness na kiniklaim nga rito arises from the use of religious imagery in a commercial context, as well as the impacts on individuals who hold religious beliefs regarding the sanctity of such symbols. Ayan, nandun na tayo sa word na symbols. Let's dig deeper. Sa elementary forms of religious life ni Durkheim, it indicates na society, through individuals, creates religion by defining certain objects or certain phenomena as sacred and others as profane. Let's define these concepts. Sacred refers to the elements of religious life that are set apart, revered, and imbued with extraordinary significance. Ito yung nagpo-form sa essence ng religion. Ito yung mga bagay na blessed, holy, divine, may power, or considered as sagrado sa mga believers. Profane refers to the elements of ordinary, everyday life that lack the sacred significance attributed sa religious symbols and practices. Yung mga profane are not endowed with religious meaning and are considered mundane, secular, or ordinary lang, ganon. Kaya may mga bagay na nagiging sacred kasi the sacred brings out the attitude of reverence, respect, yung mystery and awe for that certain symbol, practice, or object. Yung respect na binibigay dun sa certain phenomena is what makes the profane na bagay to something sacred. In making sense of these incidents, it's important to consider the role of religion as a significant cultural and social institution sa Pilipinas. Traditional religious imagery and symbols, such as those associated with Jesus Christ, ay kinokonsiderang sagrado by many adherents of Christianity. In particular, yung Catholicism has a deep-rooted influence on societal values and moral norms, pati na rin sa controversies surrounding the use of religious symbols in art and performance. Kaya may tension between traditional religious sensitivities and yung napapanahong forms of freedom of expression. Yung provocative representation ng sacred symbols ay mahahamon talaga yung na-establish na boundaries of reverence and respect, kaya nagkakaroon ng strong emotional reactions and societal conflict. Sa installation art na Poleteismo ni Mideo Cruz, hinamon nito yung traditional notions of the sacred by incorporating religious symbols in a manner that some considered it as profane. Nagkaroon ng incorporation ng religious iconography with phalluses and other discordant symbols and images, kaya siya naging controversial. Sa paggamit ng image ni Jesus as part of a performance, hinamon ni Pura Luka yung conventional na pagtingin sa mga sagradong imahe, leading to legal and social repercussions din. For them, questions were raised about the boundaries between the sacred and the profane in the context of artistic expression. Tapalord's online persona challenges naman yung reverential attitudes towards religious symbols, blurring the lines between the sacred and the profane through humor and satire. Yung engagement niya sa social media can be viewed as a form of profane expression, challenging the established sacred symbols and traditions, contributing sa reconfiguration ng religious discourse in the public sphere. As much as these three individuals ay pare-parehong nag-offend ng religious feelings and nagdelve sa sacred and profane concepts ng religion, blurring the lines between those two, the question remains here na malamang tinatanong nyo na rin is why were they not given the same hatred or treatment? Pag-usapan natin to. Regardless of the content sa ginawa nila, bastos is bastos. Offensive siya kung offensive nga. Kasuhan mo if it offended you or if it went below the belt to your beliefs, di ba? While Tapalord had received a number of negative comments from the faithful, he didn't catch much attention tulad ng politicians and government officials para kasuhan or to be declared persona non grata like Pura Luka or subjected to a Senate inquiry and receive death threats like Mideo, di ba? Tapos, both Mideo and Pura Luka din naman were accused of allegedly violating a law, pero yung kay Mideo was dismissed at hindi na siya nakulong pa, tulad ni Pura Luka. Ang Article 201 of the Revised Penal Code states that a person should serve in prison if he or she offends any race or religion. Pero bakit may differences ng approach? Bakit nag-react ang mga tao differently? Himay-himayin natin. In terms of exposure, we can see Mideo Cruz had lesser exposure kumpara kay Pura Luka and Tapalord. Unang-una dahil sa panahon. 2011, hindi pa ganun ka-established o vast ang social media. Meron ng Facebook pero nagsastart pa lang siya i-utilize ng mga tao para lang maglaro tayo ng pet society or para maglabas ng pagka-hegemon natin. Kung may mababalitaan ka man, lahat reliant pa sa TV and newspapers kung makikichismis ka. Pangalawa, kita natin dito na bilang artist, malaki nga ang naging reach niya sa public kasi affiliated ang art niya sa CCP. Kung regular na artist ka lang dito sa Pinas, ang hirap kuhanin ng atensyon ng karamihan. Kaya marami nagsasabi na mahirap maging artist dito. Walang pera sa pagiging artist. Fortunately for Mideo, Poleteismo was a part of a group exhibition, Pulo, at the main gallery of the Cultural Center of the Philippines. Pero gaano rin ba karami ang audience nila? Aminin nyo, marami rin ba sa inyo regularly nag-review ng art sa museums and exhibitions? Marami ba nakakaintindi ng art at yung mga nagtitake talaga ng time para i-appreciate ito? Pili lang din, di ba? 2011 when Mideo along with the CCP sought for the suit's dismissal. Humiling sila na sana i-drop ang criminal complaints. 2013, it was then dismissed with the defense of Poleteismo not being obscene raw and the exhibit was not meant to be offensive but was a valid art exercise. The Ombudsman said, since they had no legal duty to prohibit the exhibit which was found to be not obscene, the element of clear intent to violate the law or flagrant disregard of established rule is lacking, and thus there can be no grave misconduct on the part of the CCP officials. So yung drag hindi valid. Si Pura Luka naman, yung drag performance was recorded and uploaded on various platforms. This year lang nangyari at sobrang bilis na mga pangyayari for almost the whole nation to see because of social media today. Aminin natin, naging OA talaga ang mga tao in seeing the video, kaya mas napakalat palalo, mas naka-reach pa ng maraming audience. And drag is a form of art. We cannot deny that and it is valid. If religion claims that they have no place for queer art, this implies that some social institutions still exclude queer identities. Meron pa ring underlying presence of internalized homophobia influencing certain reactions of the religious. As naging controversial yung case niya, members and allies of the LGBTQ community were questioning why Tapalord wasn't given the same punishments tulad kay Pura Luka kung pareho naman silang known for imitating Jesus Christ.
Kapag si Pura Luka Vega galit na galit kayo, Pero kapag si Marlon Tapalord, okay lang. Grabe yung Tapalord na nagko-cosplay as Jesus Christ. Di man lang kino-call out lol. Pero minus ligtas points na joke and haha reacts lang. Pero kay Pura Luka Vera, galit na galit kayo.
Tapalord had the technology of social media na, unlike kay Mideo. Platform niya yun at dun siya sumikat. Pero like anyone or anything on Facebook, Tapalord is just another meme. His approach sa religion was more comedic, satirical. For what he was posting, hindi siya pinaviral masyado, hindi siya napagtuunan masyado ng pansin, o ginawa ng controversies o kinasuhan. Kahit pa in a way, ginamit niya rin ng slight for business. Why? Because other people do it too. Regarded na sa Facebook na normal lang gumawa ng memes for katatawanan lang talaga. It's a mundane thing, something profane. Bentang-benta nga sa atin ang Diyos ko Lord, may na-offend ba? So what does this say about religion? Religion is evaluative kasi subjective ito. It is purely personal. For example, ang isang relihiyosong tao ay nag-exercise ng subjectivity sa pag-apply ng faith nila to their everyday lives. Ang tanong pa niyan, kung gagawin ko to, acceptable or unacceptable ba to based sa teaching ng church? This subjectivity leads to a wide spectrum of religious interpretations and practices, shaping their understanding of the sacred and the profane. Dahil evaluative ito, this considers or judges something carefully, and this can be inconsistent for each individual. Since it's purely personal, there will always be biases. Ang isang subjective point of view is biased because it is either not the complete picture or it is merely a viewpoint or expressions of feelings. We cannot fully blame naman the harsh reactions of the religious individuals and sectors affected. They were confronted with a raw experience of having their symbols of worship defiled, and hindi ito uncommon in the art world. The controversial use of religious symbols in art is something that has happened before and hindi na ito bago within the realm of art. We can imply here na merong resistance or a tendency to reject performances or art that go beyond what one is familiar or comfortable with. Something that falls outside the boundaries of what is considered acceptable within their consciousness and usual practices. Yung notions and concepts din ng indecency can vary from one community of believers to another. Eating pork may constitute obscenity for one community but not for others. Polygamy may be permissible inside one community of believers but constitutes indecency for another. May inconsistency pa rin. With these experiences then, it gives insight into how we can perceive double standards in religion. Double standards meaning standards of behavior that unfairly favors one group or person over another. The examination of double standards within religion explores the different treatments of these three individuals and the varying standards of behavior upheld by religious institutions and leaders. Yung contrasting reactions kay Tapalord and Pura Luka resulted in discussions about the selective nature of religious interpretations in art and the intersection of LGBTQ identities with religious imagery. In a predominantly Catholic country where religion holds a central place in the lives of many individuals, the tension between artistic expression, freedom of speech, and religious sensitivities ay kitang-kita talaga. Kaya the three incidents also serve as examples of the challenges faced by artists, performers, and public figures in navigating the boundaries of expression within a religious society.